Okay, we are at Fort Ticonderoga, and this is just part of the fort here. This is some of the cannons that are here. There's mortars. And we just watched the musket demonstration. So anyway, just a quick pan of the fort. And last but definitely not least, a look at Lake Champlain.
And the positioning of this fort at Ticonderoga, or between the waters, guarded this entrance from Champlain, which came down from Canada, to Lake George, and then the passageways from there into the Hudson and on south. That's why the importance of the positioning of this fort. And when we go up to the top of it, we should be able to see both sides.
So let's join the tour. So we just came through the entrance of the inside of the fort itself, which was right there. And I just want to do a panoramic of the fort, what it looks like on the inside. Fort Ticonderoga was reconstructed in several different stages. They're still doing some reconstruction. This building right here is the officers' quarters, and there was portions of this original that was left, and so this was the first building. The second building that was reconstructed was this one, and it was soldiers' quarters. And the last one to be reconstructed is this one down here, which held a lot of tailoring needs and portions of the bakery. And the wall was constructed also about the same time. One of the really interesting things that we just discovered about the fort is their French bake ovens. Of course, they had to bake a lot of food for the soldiers that lived here, but they buried their ovens underground to protect them from the bombs that went off. So behind me is an example of the French bake oven. There's looks like wiring and stuff to keep them supported, but you can't really see a whole lot. But anyway, there's what they look like. So they found the ovens buried under 10 feet of soil to protect them and make them bomb-proof. And we came downstairs to see this part, so we have to go back upstairs to see how they keep the ovens lit. And it's very cool down here because it's partly underground. So I'll go back upstairs and show you what it looks like from the top. So this section was where they dropped the wood down to keep the ovens hot. So all they had to do was drop their wood down, and that would be it. The ovens would stay hot. Very interesting piece of history. I've never seen anything like that before.
So as I said earlier, Ticonderoga means between the waters. And as you can see out beyond us here is Lake Champlain, and where it narrows and comes to the south on the other side of these trees, it's a very narrow passage before it opens back up to the south of us. And so this made this a perfect location for this fort, because with these trees, which I imagine was a job of the soldiers to keep those trees cut down and afford a view of the passage, they could keep their guns focused on it and work on controlling that area to keep the colonists from either moving north or keep the French from moving south, depending on which side you were on. So it's made this a good location to access this and to control the passage by water.
Yeah. But this fort has been under, what, 4 different flags?
3 different flags, but on 4 or 5 different occasions. It was first built by the French. It was then taken over by the British, who lost it to the Americans. It was regained by the British, and then the British left it, and they surrendered it again to the Americans.
Fort Ticonderoga has a lot of deep history in it, and there's a lot to hear and see and do here at the fort. There's more than I can even let you see. Just too much.
So we've been through the history of Fort Ticonderoga with the guided tour. I would recommend that you do that if you come here. We've also walked around by ourselves and watched the demonstrations of tailoring and shoemaking and gun cleaning. And we've also watched the musket demonstration, and we're getting ready at 3 o'clock to watch the cannon demonstration.
2 o'clock.
2 o'clock, sorry, 2 o'clock to watch the cannon demonstration.
Then we will show you that.
And there's also gardens that we will probably go and see later on. One thing that we probably are not going to do, that I've heard is a great tour if you have the time and want to do it and want the funds for it, is to take the boat ride on Lake Champlain and hear the history of it from, especially the geography from that point of view.
Take up your match and fly!
It's a loud part if you guys have sensitive hearing.
Halt!
So we didn't want to leave this area without showing you an up-close and personal view of Lake Champlain.
That's right. We've enjoyed our day here at Fort Ticonderoga, and we've just finished walking through the King's Gardens, and we'll show you some pictures of some of the flowers and plants that we took there. And our next step after we leave here on the banks of Lake Champlain, we are going to go up to the top of Mount Defiant, and we'll get some more pictures from up there.
Okay, we have driven up Mount Defiance, which is one of the mountain that in one of the battles of Fort Ticonderoga, one of the armies just set 2 of their cannons up here and told the fort to give it up or they'll fire. And so they lit up the fort. They did. So they did. Spit it out. Okay, but this is the Lake Champlain Valley from Mount Defiance. And yes, it is hazy, and yes, it is raining up here. It wasn't raining at the fort, but it is here.
And down here, you can see the Lachute River. You can see the delta where the Lachute River dumps into Lake Champlain.
Yeah. Okay, so until later from Fort Ticonderoga,
We say,
bye y'all.